Hey, we got a great call lined up. This young man hails from Southern California. Did a fantastic job. Matter of fact, let me get my notes out here. Leaders, all leaders I know take notes. You know, people that don't take notes, in my opinion, don't call yourself a leader. I hate to say it, but it's true. Julian Lewis talked last week. Sometime, spare time, part-time, full-time, social media, and the language, understanding languages. I can't wait to hear what he's going to say this morning. Oh my God, we didn't match this morning with the same colors on. But anyway, take care. Folks, right now from Southern California, live, one and only, great Papa, the great, the one and only Mr. Julian Lewis. Give him a hand as you come on.
It's good to see you. It's good to see you all. Before I get started, I just want to show my appreciation for Mr. Thomas. I know I've said this before, but I just want to let everyone know that it's not every day that you get to be in the presence of greatness, to be in the presence of someone who's already created a legend that is living it day to day by the way they operate as a human being, and how special it is that we get to partake in these type of talks on a regular basis because he's a servant leader. So Mr. Thomas, as a father to father, as a man who he does what he says he's going to do, leads by example, and really has a heart of gold, I just want to thank you and show our appreciation. Everyone, can we give Mr. Thomas a round of applause before we get started?
Thank you.
Yes. And I'm excited for today. We're going to talk about some things that most of you, if you wonder how we come up with topics through what I do is I start after I finish a talk. I think about it for the rest of the week. I look at what's going on the calls. I look at what's going on with the team, and I really think about things that maybe I think are simple that maybe not everyone gets, or maybe leaders understand, but maybe not everyone gets. So that way we could connect. If we could bridge that gap, then you can get the same results as someone who's considered a leader. And today is no different. And so what I'm going to do this morning is I'm going to start like I usually like to do with a video. Mr. Thomas, what you chewing? I'm just teasing. So I saw you. So I'm going to start out with a video. And this video, it's incredible because I was thinking about how people get excited about certain people in the business. But for instance, how many of you, by a show of hands, would love to have a Sam Foster in your organization? Okay. How many of you, by a show of hands, would love to have Natasha Ismail in your organization? What about if you had a Jocelyn Driscoll? Who thinks that would be amazing? Right? Okay. Now, this is the interesting thing about these people. And what I found is, for instance, let's say we know that Miss Jocelyn Driscoll, she was a hairstylist prior to getting involved with ACN. And she blew up in the business. And you know what most people will think? The average person will think, wow, she's a hairstylist. I need to go get what? Hairstylists. And then you'll have someone like Natasha Ismail, and they'll say, oh my gosh, her and her husband flip gas stations. I need to get gas station flippers. And what we'll do is we'll assume that the greatness in who they are has to do with where they came from. And it is so silly. It's so silly. We do it all the time. I've seen people say, oh, okay, well, he's an engineer. I need to go look for engineers. It has nothing to do with being an engineer. It has nothing to do with being a gas station flipper. It has nothing to do with being a hairstylist. It has nothing to do with being found on the internet. It has nothing to do with being found in the mall. My first mentor worked at a movie theater, the same movie theater I did when I was a kid, and he had holes in the floor of his first car, and we called him the Black Barney Rubble because he had a '69 Volkswagen Vito that he bought from the junkyard for $400, right? So what would you say? You need to go recruit people at movie theaters? No, it has nothing to do with that. So what does it really have? What is it that it has to do with if it doesn't have to do with that? It has to do with personal development. I'm going to explain this because this is going to be really important. This is going to be so important it has to do with, what is personal development? What is it? Does anyone know? You can put it in the chat. What is personal development? Does anybody know? I hope so. What is it? Put it in the chat. See your fingers type fast. No one knows. Oh my gosh. No one knows what personal development is. Is there one brave soul? Learning what you need to learn to grow leadership skills. Growth. Working harder on yourself. Improving yourself. Luann Pinedo and Daryl Ranson, you guys are the closest. Personal development is simply working on yourself. Exactly what Celia said. It's working on yourself. So why do we need to do that? It's not any of these complicated things. It's just working on yourself. I need to be that simple, because we overcomplicate everything, and it's the reason why we're not attracting success into our life. Personal development is working on yourself. Now, why do you need to work on yourself? Well, there's an individual who I listen to every single day for a year. Every single day in my first year in network marketing. And his name is Jim Rohn. And Jim Rohn explains this so well. So what I want to do is I want to share with you a video that Jim Rohn, how he explains it. And like most of the videos that I do with all of you, you already know what I'm going to say. I need you to pay close attention to the video. I need you to eliminate your distractions. And I want you to take note on the things that stand out the most, so that you can get the most out of the video, okay? So wherever you're at, it's time to get focused, because there are some pieces of this video that I need you to pull out to understand what we're gonna talk about more further this morning, because it's gonna help you to propel yourself to where you need to go, all right? So as I bring this video up, remember, it's time to get focused. So Miss Belinda Batiste, I hope you're focused. Marie, I hope you're focused. I hope you guys are ready for this. So let's get going.
Do something different the next 90 days than you did the last 90 days, like picking up the books to read. Do something different, like the new health disciplines, relationship with your family, whatever it is, doesn't matter how small it is. If you'll start doing different things with the same circumstances, since we cannot change the circumstances, but we can change ourselves. We can change what we do. And then he gave me another secret to success when he said, what you have at the moment, Mr. Rohn, you've attracted by the person you've become. What you have at the moment, you've attracted by the person you've become. Few little simple principles here. Once you understand these, it starts to explain so much. Now, sometimes it's a little tough to take, blaming yourself instead of the marketplace. Taking responsibility instead of putting it off on someone else. That transition sometimes is a challenging mission. And this one was a little tough for me. He said, Mr. Rohn, you've got pennies in your pocket, you've got nothing in the bank, the creditors are calling, you're behind on your promises. And he says, here's how that occurs. You've attracted, up until now, you've attracted the things to you because of the person you've become. Now I said, well, how can I change all that? He said, very simple. If you will change, everything will change for you. You don't have to change what's outside. All you've got to change is what's inside. To have more, you simply have to become more. And then he said, don't wish it was easier, wish you were better. Don't wish for less problems, wish for more skills. Start working on yourself, making these personal changes. And he said, it'll all change for you. Shoaff said, here's the secret, Mr. Rohn. Learn to work harder on yourself than you do on your job. Once I got that, it turned my life around. Learn to work harder on yourself than you do on your job. He said, if you work hard on your job, you'll make a living. If you work hard on yourself, you can make a fortune. Wow. If you would have known me at age 25, you would have said, Jim Rohn's a hard worker. If you'd have known me, you'd have said that. I'm the guy, I don't mind coming a little bit early, staying a little bit late. I don't mind that. You'd have said, well, Jim Rohn's a hard worker. You say, well, how come he's got pennies in his pocket and nothing in the bank and behind on his promises? Well, I was a hard worker, but I was working hard on my job, not on myself. I'm telling you, if you'll learn that simple little principle and start the process today, latest tomorrow, I'll give you tonight to think it over. And start this whole process of personal development, work on yourself, make yourself more valuable to the marketplace. I'm telling you, you can so dynamically change your income, and economics is the least of the values that you can start earning in terms of equity if you'll start working harder on yourself than you do on your job. Work hard on yourself and develop the skills. Work hard on yourself and develop the graces. All of the stuff necessary to become more valuable to the marketplace. I'm telling you, your whole life can explode into change. Promotions, no problem. Becoming more valuable to the company, I'm telling you, no problem. Money, no problem. Economics, no problem. Future, no problem. If you just go to work on the right thing. Not get things out there to change. Don't try to change the seed. Don't change the soil. Don't change the sunshine. Don't change the rain. Don't change the mix of seasons. Let the miracle of everything that's available work for you, and start working on the inside. Work on your philosophy. Work on your attitude. Work on your personality. Work on your language. Work on the gift of communication. Work on all of your abilities. And if you'll start making those personal changes, I'm telling you, everything will change for you. It's Mr. Schoaf, over a 5-year period before he died at age 49, who taught me some extraordinarily simple things. He only went to the 9th grade in school. Never finished high school, never went to college, never went to university. So he put his ideas and his experiences in very simple language, which I think for me, a kid from the farms of Idaho, that simplicity was so important. Because if it would have been technical, I'd have missed it. If it would have been mystic, I would have, backed away. But it was just basic, blunt, ABC, familiar stuff that I hadn't thought of before. And he did start to remind me, and those ideas changed my life. Mr. Schoaf was the one when I said, this is all they pay. He said, you've been working 6 years, Mr. Rohn, how come you're not doing better? And I said, this is all the company pays. He says, well, that's not true. I said, no, this is my paycheck. This is all the company pays. He said, no, this is all the company pays you. I thought, that's a new way to look at it, right? He said, doesn't the company pay 2, 3, 4, 5 times this amount to other people? And I said, well, yes. He said, well, then this is not all the company pays. It's all they pay you. And if you qualified, wouldn't your income grow 2, 3, 4, 5 times? I said, I suppose. So he said, we don't have to work on the company. We have to work on you. See, that was the beginning of what he called the phrase personal development. I told him things cost too much. He said, no, you can't afford them. I thought, well, that's a new concept. I hadn't thought about that. We put some of the valuable things on the high shelf, so you can't get to them until you qualify. If you want the things on the higher shelf, you've got to stand on the books you read. Every book you read, you get to stand a little higher so you can get the things on the higher shelf. See, I learned those concepts. It was so incredible. And here was the most important one. Success is something you attract by the person you become. See, that phrase changed my life. Success is something you attract by the person you become. Success is not something you pursue. It's like chasing a butterfly. You can't quite catch it. Success is something you attract by becoming an attractive person. See, those were new concepts to me. I'm just working hard trying to make a living. Here's what he said to me. This changed my life. I got a chance to teach this in Moscow and across Russia. 3 visits, now the 4th. Here's what Schoaf taught me. Profits are better than wages. Nobody taught me that in high school. Nobody taught me that. I went to 1 year of college. Nobody taught me. Profits are better than wages. Wages make you a living. Profits make you a fortune. And how could you work on both a living and a fortune? He said, well, you could start part-time working on your fortune while you're working full-time on your living. I thought, wow. Now, he said, it's fun to get up in the morning. Not just getting up, go to work to pay the rent. but to get up to go to work to make a fortune. First, to make a living for my family. Second, to make a fortune. And he taught me how to make both a living and a fortune. Guess what I did? I learned how to make both a living and a fortune. And I found out anybody could do it once they get the information. And at age 25, I started receiving this extraordinary information. Here's what he said. Your income is directly related to your philosophy, not to the economy. I thought, no one ever told me that. I kept hoping the economy would change. He said, no, your philosophy has to change. I assured him that I had my fingers crossed. He said, that won't help. Then what could I do to change my income and multiply it by 2, by 3, by 5, by 10, and then multiply it by 10 again? What could I do? And he started giving me the disciplines and the process of learning the skills to change my life. This was an extraordinary man. Those were extraordinary times for me. Life-changing in every manner that you can imagine. But very simple ABC concepts. Here's what I learned. Not to search for the exotic until you've discovered the basic. And those basic philosophies that he shared with me during that time were life-changing. Success is something you attract by the person you become. Success is not something you pursue, chase, run after. Success is something you develop, something you become. You attract success. So the whole key to unlock all the treasures, whether it's economic treasures or spiritual treasures, financial, social, personal, every way you can possibly think of, is by your own personal development. And then he added one more, which is so important, and it's probably worth the price of the seminar. Here it is. What you become is much more valuable than what you get. What you become is much more valuable than what you get. The major question to ask on the job is not what am I getting here. The major question to ask on the job is what am I becoming here? Not what am I getting, what am I becoming? So it's very important what you become. Because what you become attracts. If you become cynical, you attract cynicism. What you become attracts. So this whole subject of personal development was so vitally important to me. It changed my life. I was a millionaire by age 31. And that was just the economic part of it. It took me 6 years from age 25 to age 31. It was unbelievable. Remember, be a student, not a follower. And here's what you must always do. Design your own personal life. I'm very happy for people to take notes at my seminar, but I'm also just as happy if somebody says, hey, this is not for me, tear up all these notes and throw them away. That's just as valid for me. Right? Remember, be no one's disciple. Chart your own course. Make what you do the product of your own conclusion. What I'm saying here is be your own person. You don't have to be a model of someone else. You don't have to do it like anybody else. Right? Do it like yourself. Buy what you want to buy. Listen to what you want to listen to. Make changes if you want to make changes, and don't make changes. Right? It's your life, I'm telling you. And don't let anybody persuade you any different. Success is not a stereotype. Success is not a Ferrari. Success is not an automobile. It's not a house. It's not a place. It's not money in the bank. It's not $1 million. That's not success. Success is the continual unfolding of the design of your own life and pulling it off. That's what success is. The continual unfolding of the design of your own personal life and pulling it off in whatever degree you wish. That is success. Successful in doing whatever you want to do that makes sense to you, for you, your family, your responsibilities, or take on responsibilities or refuse responsibilities. That's strictly all up to you. We've been given the power of choice. Every life form except human beings operates by instinct in the genetic code. Now, why not human beings? Because here it is. We've been given the dignity of choice. We're not like a robot. We're not stuck like a tree, using up all the nourishment, nothing left, now you died because you can't change location. Not true. Humans can go north, south, east, west. Humans can change, do anything they want to do. We've been given the dignity. But here's what's interesting about all life form except humans. Every life form except humans strives to the max of its potential. How tall will a tree grow? As tall as it possibly can. You never heard of a tree growing half as high as it could. No, that is impossible. A tree grows as high as it can, drives down every root it can, produces every leaf it can, extends itself as far as it possibly can. Every life form extends to the max, except human beings. Now, why not human beings? Because we're not robots. We've been given the dignity of choice. And here's a couple of alternatives on the dignity of choice. To be part of or all of, you have the potential to be. And you got the choice. Do a little to make yourself comfortable and forget the rest, or do it all. And there's nobody here to dictate you got to do it all. That's nonsense. You got to be rich because we live in a rich country. That's nonsense. You don't have to be rich. You don't have to do it all. You can do a little, do some more. Take advice, but don't take orders. Take information, take training, take teaching, but don't take orders from no one that tells you how you need to live and what you need to own and what you need to do. Somebody says, well, you need to be successful. That's a personal choice, being successful. What we teach is the possibilities, and everybody chooses. Take a little, take a lot, do some, do nothing. Abraham Lincoln said, since I would be no one's slave, I will be no one's master. Excellent philosophy. If a guy says, hey, I'm soon cashing it in, I'm heading for the mountains. I'm going to live in a little cabin, live off the land, and feed the squirrels. If he goes and does that, guess what? He's a smashing success. Why? He's doing what he designed to do and went and did it and pulled it off. You can't say, no, that's not successful. That is the epitome of success, is giving a design to your life and go pull it off, making progress in that direction that satisfies you. If it doesn't satisfy you, make alternatives and you change. And if you get some better ideas, sure, you may follow someone's suggestion and ideas, but not orders. Design your own life like you want it that will fit. Now, if you take on some responsibilities, now you got to consider those. Yes, you can ignore your responsibilities, but you won't feel good about that. Guess what the old prophet said? Some things that taste good now in the mouth turns bitter later in the belly. So you don't want to sacrifice. We all must suffer one of two pains. Regardless of your choice of lifestyle and what you want to do, we must all suffer one of two pains. The pain of discipline or the pain of regret. And what we suggest to everybody is to consider the disciplines, because disciplines weigh ounces, regrets weigh tons. You don't want to substitute a discipline for a regret. In our opinion, that would be a poor choice. Now, you can do it, but some things are poor trade-offs. The old prophet said, what if you gained the whole world, but it cost you your soul? Would that be worth it? And with a bit of intelligence, we say, no, that doesn't seem worth it. Even if you got the whole world, if you traded your soul, that experience would be so bitter and so awful and so devastating, it wouldn't be worth it. What if you got some gain by greed instead of legitimate ambition? I'm telling you, it might taste good up front, but it's going to turn bitter in the belly. And a bit of that advice saves some people from devastation. Say, well, you're right. I better think twice about that. So we must confront all laws, spiritual laws, agricultural laws, basic laws, fundamental laws. We must confront all of those. But you still now can design your own life. A little, a lot, go east, north, south. Okay.
So let's talk about it. I want to see, get to the chat. Who's first? Get to the chat. Let's see what you guys got out of that talk. What were some of the most powerful points you pulled from that talk with Jim Rohn? Success is something you attract by becoming an attractive person. Great one. Who else had something that they found that was powerful? When you change, everything changes. Absolutely. You attract what you become. Work harder on yourself. I love that, Dee Dee Sanders. Your perspective is the key. Work harder on yourself. For things to change, you have to change. Profits are better than wages. Success is not something you pursue. That's a big one. Listen, success is something you attract by the person you become. It is not something you pursue. It's something you attract. It's something you attract. So how do you become more attractive? How do you become more attractive? Ladies and gentlemen, how do you become more attractive? How do you become more attractive? I want to see it in the chat. How do you become more attractive? There it is. Personal growth, personal development, becoming more. It's not about what you get. It's about who you become. You work on yourself. This is what I'm talking about. And this is why it's so important. This is like active note taking. I'm trying to help you guys to pull the things out of the videos. Why am I trying to help you to pull? Why does it seem like I'm being so crazy about pulling things out of the videos? Because the videos are just an example of the world around you. The videos are an example of your life. You can't pull from the video. How are you going to pull from the experiences in life to become the better person? How are you going to be able to do it if it's all just in a video and you can't pull it from the video? What are you going to do through life without comprehending the things that are happening and the lessons that are happening right now in your special circumstances called your reality? How are you going to be able to do it if you can't pull it out of a video? So what I'm trying to give you are life skills to becoming a better person, because who you become is what you're going to attract. And that's why I began this with people saying, well, Jocelyn Driscoll is a hairstylist. I need to get more. No, you need to become a better person to attract a Jocelyn Driscoll who so happened to be a hairstylist. See, it wasn't about her being a hairstylist. It was about the fact that she was able to meet powerful women that were in ACN who she was attracted to because she wanted to learn from their leadership. It wasn't about Jim Rohn being a farm boy from Idaho. It was about the fact that he was attracted to his mentor, Mr. Schultz, who was able to speak in basic terms, in simple manner, because if it was mystic, he said, if it was something that was technical, he wouldn't have caught it. Mr. Schultz was able to become something more to attract to Jim Rohn, and who he was being because of who he had become was able to attract people, and in attracting people, he was able to attract success. See, people often think that success is something you pursue. And trying to chase success is like trying to chase a butterfly. It's very difficult to catch. See, the way you generate success is by becoming someone better. That is why I started with people waking up in the morning. Listen, guys, I'm full-time. I don't need to wake up in the morning, right? Do I need to wake up in the morning, you guys? Yes, I do. See, Al Thomas is the only one that got this. Yes, I do, because who I am is what attracts success. And if you think for 1 second that because you're your own business or your own business owner or your own boss, that means you get to wake up at 9 a.m., you get to do things inconsistently, that'll be the same reason why you will always have an overseer or a boss over you, because you haven't figured it out. It's not about, listen, guys, I could do so many different things at 9 a.m. But I carve out the time to be on this call in the present moment with all of you, because why? Because my habits dictate what I attract. And what I'm attracting allows me to generate a lifestyle. Who I'm becoming is what's attracting what I get. But it's not about what you get. It's more about what you become. What you get is what everyone else sees. What you get is what allows you to create a lifestyle, but what you become is who you're able to take in every single situation. What you become is what will allow you to be the rising tide that floats all boats. It will be the thing that gives you success in your health, in your nutrition, in your family, with your children, with your business. It is those things. And I see people that are younger than me that catch it, and I see people that are older than me that do not. You have to make the decision. See, what I realize is most people are out there chasing the butterfly instead of realizing that all they have to do is become better inside. And when you become better inside, you will create better habits. You will create a better character. You will create a better lifestyle, because the people that are vibrating on that level that you want to be at, you wind up rising to that level, and then every one of them is there. And here's the secret. It doesn't matter where they're actually physically at. If you think they all exist in hair salons all over the country, you're dead wrong. If you think they all exist online in the internet, you're dead wrong. If you think they all exist at the mall or at Sam's Club, you're dead wrong. Where they are is where you meet them at. And this is going to mess you up, because you might be thinking, well, he's contradicting himself, because you just said they're not where you meet them. No, they're where you are personally developed, which means that when you rise to that level, you will meet them at Sam's Club. You will meet them at the salon. You will meet them in the coffee shop. You will meet them on the internet. You will meet them on Instagram and Facebook and Clubhouse and all these places, because they are at the level you are, which means they are attracted to who you are being. But if you're not attractive, they won't ever see you. So instead of trying to model behavior, here's what I know about you. You're a one and done. There's no one else like you. All you need to do is get great at this basics, get great at the ABCs of network marketing, get great at the fundamentals. If you can just get great at the mastering the basics. Mr. Adler talked about it. He said it doesn't matter what era we're in, we still have to do what? We still have to find people. We still have to pique their interest, expose them to the business, get them to enroll as an IBO, get them to enroll as a customer. Those are the basics. So you just need to get great at the basics. And here's what happens. When you get great at the basics, you internalize the basics. What does that really mean? Based on the level of personal development, once you internalize the basics, this is how human nature works. You express it through your DNA. Al Thomas's way of doing it, the way he expresses ACN, is different than James Adlam. James Adlam's way of expressing ACN is different than Patrick Mazer. Patrick Mazer's way of expressing ACN is different than Aaron Burt, who is different than Chanel Burt. What they did is they internalized the system, and they allowed themselves to shine through because they didn't have to think about the system anymore. The reason why you keep having false starts, I hope you're listening to this. The reason why you keep having false starts is because you didn't repeat the system enough to internalize it for it to become a part of you, so that all you have to do is express yourself. And in doing so, you attract your tribe. Some of you are going to miss what I just said, so I hope you listen to the recording. It's not great, Sam, it's great, but it's not just about right? It's not just about the basics. It's not. See, that's the point. I don't want you to miss this, because some of you are missing it right now as I'm speaking. It's not about getting back to the basics. The basics are all there is. It's about mastering the basics so that you can just express who you are and your DNA. See, when ACN is in you, it's not in you. It becomes you. Everything you do becomes you. I'll break it down a different way so that you can understand it. The reason why every single artist is special is because they've mastered what they do to the point where who they are, their fingerprint, their DNA is expresses through their art. Whether that's building a home, whether that's being a hairstylist, whether that's music, whether that's being a singer, whether it's being an artist in drawing or painting. People try to paint like that artist and they miss the point. It has nothing to do with painting like that person. It has to do with mastering what? The basic skills and then allowing your expression to come through. I bet you could close your eyes. And if I started speaking and then Jocelyn started speaking and then Natasha started speaking and then Sam started speaking, Mr. Thomas started speaking, you would be able to, with your eyes closed, know who is who based on the voice, the tonality, the cadence, the delivery. Why? Because it's a part of our DNA. What I'm trying to tell you guys is a lot of people got this thing mixed up. You want to sound just like Patrick. You want to sound just like Mr. Thomas. You want to sound just like Jocelyn. You need to find your own voice. How you do that is by internalizing the basics, and then you can express it the way you're supposed to. But here's the really big major point. When you grow yourself, then everything grows. But if you grow yourself and you haven't mastered the skill set, which are the basics, then you're a grown person who has nothing to bring to the marketplace. And those are for the people that do what? All they do is study. They become a professional student, but they have no success in this physical realm because they never what? Apply the knowledge. You got to internalize it. And the only way you can do that in this business is to repeat the things over and over again that get the results. You need to become repetitive at peaking, exposing, enrolling, and acquiring. You need to become skillful, masterfully at those things. And in that process, you become elevated. And here's how I know. And Jocelyn, if you're still on, you'll be able to appreciate this. When I was in college, I was a barber. I became a barber because I was walking around on a Sunday in Mission Beach in San Diego, and another barber connected with me. And he looked at my hair and he said, "Who cuts your hair?" And I said, "I do." He said, "You did that?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "You have some skills. Our shop is looking for barbers. You should come and I'll introduce you to the owner who's a master barber and he has an apprentice license. You could actually work under him and gain your license." I said, "That sounds pretty cool." I knew barbers made good money. So I stepped out on faith and I decided to go. I did an interview. I didn't know how this was going to work. I had to cut someone's hair who was a walk-in. That was my interview. And he said, "You know what? You have enough skill that if you listen and you come and learn and just show up every day and cut, you're going to be great." He said, "Julian, I need you to know something. The way barbering works, the way becoming masterful works is not what most people think. You just need to come every single day and cut." And he said, "One day you'll look down and look back up at that head that you're cutting and you'll see everything different." What he was explaining is the point at which you internalize the skill. When the skill set becomes a part of your DNA, that's when you become an artist. You can ask Jocelyn. I promise you, we haven't had this conversation. She will tell you it's factual. But the reality is that's how ACN works. You repeat, repeat, repeat. It becomes internalized, and that becomes an expression of your DNA. And now you have a tribe that a Jocelyn wouldn't attract. You have a tribe that Al Thomas wouldn't attract. Because of why? Because we're all different, but in doing so as a network, we're able to grow something huge. I hope you get this, because until you grow, you can go everywhere else, all around the world, looking for Sam's, Al's, looking for Jocelyn's, and you won't find them. Because if you haven't grown in your skill set and in your personal development, they will be on a different level and they won't see you. So with that being said, Mr. Thomas, I want to pass the call back off to you. I appreciate you allowing me to share this morning, and I hope it's been able to touch or impact a few people so that they can start to get on their path to success.